Hi, this is Kevin with the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. We have a great show in store for you today, so be sure to hit like and subscribe to keep up on all the latest from Fantasy Football's podcast.
So that moves us into our next segment, and I'm not going to lie, guys, I'm actually pretty excited about this one, where we've got retire, rehire, or new hire. So we're going to go through the list here of the quarterback carousel, and we're going to start with one that we already know the results of, right? Eli Manning was going to be a free agent out there. He already decided to retire, so we can mark that one up there as a retire. But what about the other quarterback, one of the other quarterbacks down there in New Orleans, talking about Mr. Teddy Bridgewater? Retire, rehire, new hire.
New hire, and he's another guy who I think the Colts could look at if Jameis Winston stays in Tampa Bay. I think that he's also a guy that Miami could look at if they want to not necessarily be completely married to Ryan Fitzpatrick and have a guy with some NFL experience come in and have a Tua play behind him. Because when Teddy came out, him and Tua were very similar skill set wise. Now, Teddy's knee injury has since changed some of that, but if we take a couple steps back, when Teddy Bridgewater was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, coming out of Louisville, he very much was an accurate passer, but liked to run a little bit and could get outside the pocket, very much fit the Tua scheme where you kind of have those guys stacked up and can have the same offense for both guys, where Fitzpatrick doesn't quite fit that mold, even though he was such a running back star for the Miami Dolphins this past season.
Interesting, though, you would say that, though, because Bridgewater, obviously his knee injury has, been a thing, but Tua's coming off of a pretty serious hip injury too. So it's kind of interesting that you would make that connection there. I do think that Bridgewater is a new hire, and honestly, I would root for him in Indianapolis. I think that would be a great spot for him because he is the guy, and he's such an easy guy to root for, based on what he's gone through. So I would say that Bridgewater is going to be a new hire, and I would love to see him land in Indianapolis.
I think you're right. I think he's got a lot of potential in Indianapolis. I think he'll be a new hire somewhere, but it would not surprise me to see him go to a new Las Vegas Raiders type of organization there. Chucky does enjoy a quarterback that's not going to turn the ball over and is going to be able to run his system. And I absolutely think that Teddy Bridgewater can pull that off. We did post some polls out there to the Twitterverse and got some pretty good results. So let's recap those real quick. So guys, we've also got Teddy Bridgewater. 0% think he's going to be a retire. 30% think he's a rehire, and 70% think that he'll spend the time somewhere else. Alrighty, guys, that'll do it for the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. That'll wrap up another episode. Thank you for joining us. Make sure that you're following us on the Twitter at Good Old Boys FF. You can also find us on YouTube with the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football channel. Facebook, we are at Good Old Boys FF. If you haven't done so, be sure to click the like and subscribe button. We'd also love for you to hit the rating and subscribe button to wherever you're listening to this podcast. Now, for Kevin and Alex, I'm Derek.